Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Fowler Field here on the campus of Middletown High School for some high school football action on this wonderful Friday night. I'm Ed Estrada, along with legendary head coach, Mr. Dick Wilsayer. Coach Wilsayer, how are you this evening?
Very well, thanks, Ed. It's a great night for football. Good night for running the football. That's what both coaches say they're going to do. We'll see just how much. With Jimmy Wright, Pine Bush, being one of the most proficient running guards for John Whitehead when he was head coach here, you know he's going to stay true to his tradition, and that's traditional for Pine Bush to run the football and to. They have some pretty good sized linemen, as Middletown doesn't have the size maybe, but they do have some speed if they want to use it. So that'll depend on how the game goes. But the nice thing is you don't have to worry about the rain, you don't have to worry about the cold or any of that. So we can't complain about anything tonight, Ed, and except I hope you're feeling better as the game goes on.
Thank you, Coach.
So.
It's going to be an interesting game between Middletown and Pine Bush. This is essentially going to decide third place behind Newburgh and Monroe Woodbury in the playoffs. The Midi Bears enter tonight's action with a record of 1-3. They are 0-2 in the division, and Pine Bush comes into tonight's game with a record of 2-2. They're 2-0 in the division, but both teams have played different quality schedule for their opening part of their division schedule. Monroe Woodbury, or that is Pine Bush, is yet to play Newburgh so far this year.
Well, and Middletown looked pretty good against Monroe Woodbury last week. They just, again, failed to keep the pedal to the metal and keep the pressure on. They have a tendency of doing that. Even against Port Jervis, they had them shut out, and they still would not add on any large score like some of these real good teams can do, both in high school and in college football. So Pine Bush has sort of been flying under the what do you say here?
Radar.
Under the radar.
Under the radar, yep.
They have one. They have one looking pretty good. They are sort of picked to win this one tonight, but anything can happen on that stretch of 100 yards down there in front of us. So we'll see. But it's great to be here, and it's great to see two nice teams play, and I hope they have a great night in all sections. Middletown is working on speed. I think Pine Bush is going to work on a little bit more just power and finesse blocking and trying to get a little edge on the being overloaded or oversized on the line, and one of the things you have to look at is how far back off the line are the offensive linemen so that they can get out on their pooling.
Yeah, that Pine Bush line is a large line traditionally and historically at Pine Bush. They do have some very large folks on the offensive and defensive lines. We see the Middletown players getting ready to come on into the field here at Fowler on the far side near the high school.
Yeah, I've seen the work in a good way for them when they come down against Port Jervis. You know, it's funny about Pine Bush has always said that they've always had the linemen to block, but they never had the skill players, the running backs, the wide receivers, the quarterbacks and stuff like that. And yet, in the last couple years, they've shown to have a few pretty good athletes in their running game and in their wide receivers. So we'll see what they come up with tonight and whether they can have the finesse players or the skilled players
and we're gonna
get to the ball to the.
We're going to take a break here, Coach. They're going to show a little bit of video clip for the Middies as they've entered the field here at Fowler.
Pine Bush has won the toss and has elected to defer to the second half. That means the Pine Bush defense will take on the Middie offense to begin the game. Our colors this evening are presented by the Middletown High School chapter of the NJROTC Color Guard.
And we've done the coin toss here at Fowler. It's a beautiful day in low 60s, no humidity, and the flags are still, so no wind on the field after a couple of days of some heavy rain. But Mother Nature's cooperating.
And our national anthem this evening will be performed by the marching middies under the direction of Mr. Guy Johansson. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, remove your hats, and face the flag as we honor America and our soldiers stationed at home and abroad with the playing of our national anthem.
And a wonderful rendition by our own marching middies with this evening's national anthem. Once again at Estrada here with legendary head coach, Mr. Dick Wilslayer. Middie Bears just almost had one of the largest upsets in Section 9 in the last 20 years against Monroe Woodbury, Coach.
Yeah, but it wasn't the miracle finish that they're used to having at Port Jervis.
Port Jervis.
And against Monroe, as simple as they are, for years now I've been trying to look at their blocking schemes of their open offense that they run. They've run it for forever. It's still very simple. Technically, their technicality is on how well their linemen block, double team, open up, or whatever, and then the quarterback reads the defensive end coming in and whether he should run or not. And they've been very successful, and I don't care which brothers they're using. Delaware wing T is supposed to be a misdirection type of thing, in which is supposed to be confuse the linebackers and the secondary. But in order for it to work, you've got to sustain your staple play of using the fullback either up the middle, off the guard spots, or what they call the belly, and within that they run a what they call a jet sweep, in which they put a man in motion and get the ball out to him as he gets mostly running to the short side of the offensive line, more so than the wing side of the offensive line. So
we're ready to start here. John Grasso kicking off for the Bushmen. The ball comes down at about the 6-yard line off the hands of number 20 for the Midi Bears. That's Dalen Smith. He's going to take it as a touchback.
Yeah, once that goes over the line of scrimmage, or the end zone line, it's a automatic touchback, and they bring it out to the 20.
Number 80, Cecil Brownridge, also back for that kick. Middletown will start off first and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Probably the greatest way of having coverage on your kickoff is kick it right into the end zone. I know that's what the pros are doing now in the colleges. They're just kicking it right into the end zone.
Dalton Howe, number 9, is the Middletown quarterback. From the shotgun. It's a handoff on the first play from scrimmage for Middletown. About 3 yards on the play by number 15, Hakeem Chambers.
And that's the spread offense type of formation, more so than the Delaware wing T. Delaware wing T, he'll have the fullback right behind the quarterback, and he'll be taking it directly from center, and that's not it right there. So
second and 7.
Shows you what Middletown is going to be running for the evening anyway. Second now, same thing, going to be a direct snap.
Alton going back to pass. He's got a rush going on, and he's brought down with the sack for Pine Bush. That's number 5, Robert Jackson.
And that's where your size and strength of the offensive line or the defensive line of Pine Bush is going to overcome the, quote, speed line or the fast line of Middletown. And if you don't have protection, you don't have a chance for your receivers to get downfield, and there it is. It's a good 10-yard loss, and so now it's 3rd and 20.
Third down and about 16 from the Middletown 14. They need to get to the 30. Howell back to pass. He's got a receiver off the left side. Receptions made by Cecil Brownridge on the near side, but a whole host of Pine Bush tacklers. A good defensive series for the Bushmen results in a Middletown punt. Deep in their own territory, number 30 for the Midi Bears, Jermaine McCray, back to punt the football. And number 11, Anthony Potts for Pine Bush, setting himself up at the Pine Bush 45-yard line. McCray's punt is a short one and goes straight out of bounds after it hits the turf. And favorable field position on the first series offensively for Pine Bush. 1st and 10 for the Bushmen at the Middletown 41 to start the game.
And now we'll see just how much of a Delaware wing T the Pine Bush will come out and line up in. There's a good chance that Jimmy will try to outflank the Middletown defense, which is a 3-5, and you may well see the speed sweep.
Hakeem Meland under center for the Bushmen. He's got a handoff. We're going to see a lot of that tonight.
Well, that's the fullback, and that's where it all stems from. That was just a simple fullback give off the left tackle side of the offensive line.
Anthony Bush in from the linebacker position, so you know how Middletown defensively is going to play tonight with their linebackers up close to the line of scrimmage.
Well, yeah, and they got to be moving the three down men side to side in order to stop the offensive line from pulling and doubling.
The quarterback this time was going to pitch the football, but he thought better of it, and it was a good decision because that Middletown defense, led by number 22, Sean Rosa, was in the backfield. No gain It looked like
Yeah, we heard a lot of that Sean Rosa's name against Port Jervis, Ed, and so we'll see how. Again, it's still stemming from the handoff to the fullback or the fake to the fullback, and now that it's a long 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10 for Pine Bush. Mealand under center. He's got a pitch to number 11, and he's out of bounds, short of the first down. That's Anthony Potts off the pitch. Tyshawn Moody in on the tackle, pushing Potts out of bounds. Got to bring up 3rd and 5 for Pine Bush at the Middletown 36-yard line. Make that 4th down, and I thought it was 4th down. Pine Bush at the 36 will not be punting the football. Could have tried to pin Middletown back deep in their own territory, Coach, but they tried to go for the first down. And it looks like we have some procedure. Here's the official's call.
Dead ball. Snap infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still brings up 4th down.
This might change Pine Bush's thinking here into perhaps punting the football. What do you think, Coach? And that looks like that's what they're going to do.
You're right, Ed. They are changing it. They are going to punt and then try to cover the punt so that the Middletown will be in a deep, deep hole. Nice end-over-end kick.
Fair catch.
Fair caught.
And a nice fair catch with some pressure coming from Chris Washington, number 7 for the Middies.
Their strategy worked because they're all the way down on the 15-yard line. 1st and 10.
So both teams have had the football here in the opening quarter. Neither team was able to get a first down on their opening series, but the advantage to the Bushmen as Middletown has the football. 1st and 10. Deep in their own territory, they'll start at their own 10-yard line. Cecil Brownridge, the receiver, on the near side. Howell hands the ball off. A nice job that time, and we've heard his name before so far in the early going. That's number 5 for the Bushmen, Robert Jackson. He grabs the shirt of number 8, Robert Denson. No gain on the play,
And
second down.
That's where you can say that Pine Bush has their share of quality players also who have good speed.
All 11 players for Pine Bush within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Howell back to pass. Dalton back to pass. Tries to run it up the middle. He's brought down by number 50. That's Mason Bowen, the offensive guard for Pine Bush.
Seems like they're just trying to juggle for field position here, and because Pine Bush just played that one very conservative, and now they've got Middletown back on it's either 3rd or I can't see 3rd or 4th.
Yep, it's 3rd down and 9 for Middletown from their own 11-yard line. Whistle on the play.
Looks like there's some movement before they should have been moved.
Here's the official.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
Second penalty of the game so far in the first 8 minutes of the first quarter. The first one on Middletown. Pine Bush had a false start penalty on its opening drive. So the ball's now placed at the 6-yard line. Middletown needs to get to the 20 for a first down. Ryan Rosa, number 89, coming in off of the bench for this play, as is number 8, Robert Denson.
I would have thought that Pine Bush would have just refused the penalty and made him punt. Now it would have been 4th and 5.
Howell from his end zone finds Denson, does a nice move at the 15, and finally pushed out of bounds by number 52 of the Bushmen. That's Brian Warren, short of the first down, but a good enough gain to at least get the punter out of the shadows of his own end zone. It's a 5-yard reception, or change that. It's an 11-yard reception. McCrae's kick comes down at about the 42. Middletown turf bounce into Pine Bush territory. Charles Civanoli, my apologies to you and your family, Charles, downs the football for the Midi Bears at the Pine Bush 43-yard line, where they'll take over 1st and 10. We've had 3 possessions, 2 from Middletown, 1 from Pine Bush. Neither have resulted in any first down so far. Both teams filling each other out with the running game. .6:13 remaining in the first quarter. No score here at Fowler between Pine Bush and Middletown. Mealand under center. He goes straight back to pass. A good rush by some of the Middletown players. He's going up top. One-on-one coverage. Number 18 for Middletown, Arthur Harris, covering Anthony Potts. Good coverage downfield. Some good upfield pressure by Brandon James, number 42 for the Midi Bears, keeping Mealand in the pocket.
They have not yet shown the staple offense in which they both will live and die by this evening. And it's just a hit and miss type of thing.
And you would think that would play into Middletown's hands a little bit. Handoff this time, it is a straight handoff. Xavier Martinez, number 30 on the carry for Pine Bush. And a good job by Anthony Bush to bring him down. But a good pickup on first down by Martinez. Picks up 4, 3rd and 6 for Pine Bush from their own 47-yard line. Boy, this weather didn't look that good this morning, huh, Coach?
No. No, it didn't.
Mealand under center. He gave it to number 1. He's got some running room on the counter, and he's got enough for a first down for Pine Bush. They faked the handoff to Martinez and ended up handing it off to Frank Wise. And that counter kind of stopped Middletown's rush a little bit.
Well, and they got their chance to get their lineman out in front and for the blocking of the kick out and the fill. So we'll see if this is what they're trying to establish, whether they continue it or whether they go to something completely out of kilter for them.
8-yard pickup and a first down for Pine Bush. A little confusion on the handoff. There's a flag on the play, likely to come back for hold. Number 12 on the carry for Pine Bush. That's Chauncey Smith.
Yeah, well.
And the early indications hold on Pine Bush.
Well, that's the smaller outside blockers that can't hang on long enough, so they just hold on, and that's going to be a 10-yard.
We got holding. Number 11 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. We're going to repeat first down.
So Pine Bush, despite that holding call, has found success in the last 2 plays with some counters, faking the handoff and then handing it off to another individual, rushing it to the left side and the right side of the Middletown defense. The ball's marked way back at the 48-yard line. They need to get to the Middletown 32 for a first down. Handoff, some running room, and a great tackle that time by Arthur Harris, a shoestring tackle against Anthony Potts. If he gets by that tackle, Coach, he's got the whole near side all the way to the end zone.
Well, that's what Pine Bush now, they just they're banging it directly at the defense, and they're trying to get their linemen out on the corners to block, and they're trying to set up, I think, what their game plan was, and that is to run the Delaware wing tee.
Clock running here in the first quarter. We're under 4 minutes. No score between Middletown and Pine Bush. Pine Bush
Timeout, Pine Bush.
calls timeout. We'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in the OCI AA football standings. Right now, Newburgh and Monroe Woodbury are your both teams undefeated within the division. Mitty Bears tried very hard last week against Monroe, falling short 14-13 on a late touchdown with 15 seconds left. Pine Bush lost its first 2 games of the year, 32-22 to Cornwall. And then Monroe Woodbury, they lost 35-14, but they've bounced back the last 2 weeks, 49-7 against Valley Central and 33-7 against Washingtonville. Meanwhile, the Middies are 0-2 in the division, having lost to the big guys, Newburgh 31-0, and Monroe last week 14-13, sandwiched in between, and also lost the first opening week on a beautiful game where they really dominated Warwick, but came away with a 21-18 loss at Warwick. All of that sandwiched in between the 149th Erie Bell game when the Mitty Bears defeated Port Jervis 24-0. The objective for Middletown is to win out and finish third, perhaps get a home game in the playoffs this year. Pine Bush thinking the same thing. Meelan pitches the football. Chris Washington in on the tackle.
Yeah, evidently Middletown does have the speed on defense. They played the pitch well. They made him turn up in, and the defense filled in where they had to fill in and stop that play.
We have an injury for Middletown, and unfortunately, Coach, it is number 7, Chris Washington, who has been an integral part of this Middletown defense. He was the most valuable player in the Port Jervis matchup this year. Chris?
Yeah, he can't afford to make because he's not only very quick, but he plays the defensive secondary very well, as shown by the results of his interception and the run back of his interception.
Who was in on the tackle. I'm not sure if a lot of people perhaps fell on him. Cornwall, coach, with an early 6-0 lead on Monroe Woodbury.
Cornwall's legit. I don't care how.
Doesn't matter what class. Right?
No. They're well coached. They have a Coach Conley who's been very consistent down there, and they have good athletes, and they are a power to be reckoned with again.
Josh Sam, number 5, coming in off the bench in the safety position that's been vacated by Chris Washington due to that last injury. Third down for Pine Bush at the Middletown 47-yard line. It's about 3rd and 16. Meelan under center. He's going to keep the football and brought down in the backfield by number 33, Tyshawn Moody, the senior linebacker for Middletown. That'll push Pine Bush all the way back to their own 48-yard line, bringing up 4th down. And, Coach, we've been talking about it so far early in this game and throughout the year. The Middletown defense is very quick. You cannot take a lot of time in having your plays evolve.
Yes, and that's true. That's been their strength. There's another nice
good punt. Dropped by the Middletown player. The ball is still loose. I think number 18 for Middletown, Arthur Harris, finally fell down on the play, on the football. On the game's opening kick, and now on this punt, with 2.5 remaining in the first quarter, Middletown flubbing both of those plays.
And although Pine Bush didn't get the ball, they got Middletown in very horrendous offensive position.
Middletown has had, this is their 3rd possession. The first one started at the 20, and the second one at the 10-yard line, and this one's even worse at the 6. So the Mitty Bears are going to need a big play just to put a couple of first downs together and regain.
They got to establish a routine, an offensive regimentation here to move the sticks.
Chambers on the carry.
Again,
tries to get away.
It's not a they're not moving forward enough to move the sticks after they've run 3 plays. And if they make a mistake there, then Pine Bush is sitting very pretty right on about the 5-yard line.
Pine Bush defensive line does a nice job holding up Washington until he gets some help from Frank Wise, who came up from his linebacker position to finally make the tackle.
The other thing may happen here is to try to pass the ball, and if that is stopped, then Middletown really is in the.
Howell back to pass. It's a quick pass on the far side. It's caught at the 10, the 15. A nice reception there by number 13, Naquan Dolson. And the Midi Bears get their first down of the evening. A nice job by Howell, but more importantly, Coach, a nice play call on getting the ball out of the hands of the quarterback in quick fashion.
Yep. But they're still taking chances. There's nothing stable, nothing continually moving the sticks the old-fashioned way, the hard way, I guess.
From the shotgun, Dalton Howe. Chambers with the handoff. He's got some good running room up the middle that time before he's finally brought down by Brian Warren, but he picked up 7 on the play. That's what you want to see, Coach, on a first down play. Rushing the football to keep the clock running and putting up 7 yards. Second and 3 for Middletown, their own 24-yard line. No score here in the first quarter. Howell back to pass. Goes out of bounds. It was intended for Naquan Dulcet, but number 22 on the far side, Kenneth Holland, with some good coverage for Pine Bush. What do you think about the call, Coach, after you just put up 7 on the ground?
Well, it had worked before. He's getting rid of the ball in a hurry. But, again, you're taking a chance. You got an offensive receiver out there with a defensive man right next to him. So it just seems that they're taking chances that.
That's where maybe you put something in your back pocket and do a pump fake and then have them release. 3rd down. Washington with the handoff. Does he get enough for the first down? It looks like he's going to be short by a yard. Yep, it's going to be 4th down.
And now you're forced to make that 4th down decision. Do you try to make a yard or two, or do you?
Well, the way this game's going, you probably punt it from your own 26-yard line. Hope you get this Faller Field bounce that regains some of this field position for you.
Yeah.
McRae will be back in to punt the football. So far, Pine Bush looks like they're going to bring the whole team. Coach, there's nobody back to field the punt. So they're going to come back with a big rush. And the ball goes sideways instead of forward. So unfortunately, it's a short punt.
Yeah, but the coverage is good. I mean, that's one thing that Middletown.
That's the end of the first quarter.
So Jaheim Turner downs the football for Middletown. That's the last play of the first quarter here at Fowler Field. No score between Pine Bush and Middletown. Both teams have had only 1 first down here in the first quarter. Kind of like a little bit of a middleweight fight. Everybody just feeling each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Waiting for somebody
no
to
one really
waiting for somebody to do a big play.
Some punches. They're just.
The Pine Bush offense is led by their quarterback, Hakan Milan, number 10. He's a senior, 5'11", 185, but they also have a triple threat in the running back position. That includes number 30, Xavier Martinez, number 11, Anthony Potts. Also, Chauncey Smith is out there, number 12. The Mini Bears have been trying to get their junior quarterback, Dalton Howe, his first year on the varsity, some reps, and hopefully lead that to a very good year next year, and hopefully that Monroe game last week. But so far this year for Middletown, it's been all about their quick defense. So let's set the stage. 1st and 10 for Pine Bush from the Middletown 47-yard line at the start of the second quarter. The handoff to number 11. That's Anthony Potts. A great job by Middletown's Jermaine McCray, fighting off the block, and coming up with a 1-yard loss on the carry. Coach, it kind of looks here like Pine Bush is going to have to start hitting some passes to open up that run game a little bit, because the Middletown...
everything seems to be very slow developing. And when you have a pretty quick defense, that's just what you want to do.
Quarterback this time gets a great block. He's finally brought down after a first down. Josh Popoka with the Middletown tackle, but Hakon Milan with a nice carry. He got a beautiful block on the inside near the line by Martinez. That kind of let him get that first down. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. No score, but Pine Bush driving in Middletown territory. 1st and 10 at the Midi Bear 34-yard line. Once again, Milan's going to carry the football. Has got some more yardage. All the way down to the 19. Jaheim Turner making the stop, but not before. Milan has a second first down on 2 carries. First and 10, Pine Bush. They are driving at the Middletown 19-yard line, trying to put up the first points of the game. He's going to keep it. And once again, he's trying for the trifecta, and it's good enough to get him some good yardage of about 6 yards. And why change, Coach, if it's working?
Oh, yeah. And he's got the pitch man out there in case. It's sort of like a false key, but at any rate, they're moving the ball with the 2nd and 5.
Beautiful play. He read it all the way. There's a fumble on the play. Did they mark him down? It looks like they did. But a nice job by DeMarcus Pearson. Chauncey Smith had the carry, but as he was getting the handoff, DeMarcus Pearson for Middletown almost took the handoff for him. Big 3rd down play for the Middletown defense coming up on what's likely to be 4-down territory for Pine Bush. Milan under center. He's going to keep the football, and he's brought down by Mike Rivera, Anthony Bush, number 44. 4th down and 4. 4th down and 4 for Pine Bush. They're going to be going for it. They're at the Middletown, just inside the Middletown 14.
Hey, you got nothing to lose here. If you don't make it, Middletown's still in bad position. If you make it, you're on your way to a touchdown. Oh, they're going for a field goal.
They are going to try for the field goal. It's a 30-yarder. The kick is up. And it's no good. They took a long time to make that decision. It looks like it just went wide left. And, yeah, Coach, I'm with you. In this game of field position, if you don't make it on 4th down, Middletown's got to drive 90 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't understand Jimmy's decision there, but he is the head coach, and that's what he sees the kid kick every day in practice, so he knows he was potentially. He had the length. They just pulled it to the left.
Sometimes when this happens, the quarterback for the other team throws a bomb on the first play just to open things up. Howell straight back to pass. He's going long. He's got some holding, And Middletown will get some yardage on this play. It was intended for Cecil Brownridge on the near side. And, Coach, we called it there. Sometimes
Yes,
when you get an
called that one,
advantage.
and that's what you do. You try to break their back right off on the next play, and that was well
Pass
thrown.
interference. Defense, 15 yards from the previous spot. Result's going to be a first down.
And that's as good as any offensive play as far as yardage results.
Yep,
for the middies.
And the results of your getting a first down is also prevalent. So.
And I tell you, it wasn't a bad hold because he was by the defender down the sideline.
Yeah, well, it was a better hold than it was for a touchdown. So.
Howell from the shotgun.
And
he goes straight back to pass once again. He's going over the middle, and he overthrew his intended receiver that time. Naquan Dolson. Howell had to hold on to that football a little bit longer to have his receivers get downfield.
Yep.
Second and 10 Middletown from their own 35-yard line. No score, 8:13 remaining in the first half. Chambers just to the left side of Howell, the quarterback from the shotgun, and the handoff goes to Chambers right up the middle. Number 79 for the Bushmen. And unfortunately, I don't have a 79 on the roster here, but he clogged it up. Third down again. It would be a nice job if the Midi Bears can pick up one more first down and turn field position here. Howell rose to his left. He overthrows the intended receiver. That was Naquan Dolson on the far side. That's going to bring up a punt for Middletown. In the hopes that Mr. McCray, the Middletown punter, Jermaine McCray, who's a freshman and done a nice job this year.
Yeah, well,
from a punting
Middletown
position.
Covers their punts real well. He gets it off in a hurry. It may
It's a
go
short kick, but it's going to come up with a lot of yardage due to the Fuller Field bounce. Charles
And really, it doesn't give Pine Bush real good field position to
Silvagnoli
start.
downs the football. But this is the deepest that I think Pine Bush has started a series today. Nice crowd here at Fowler Field. The weather cooperating, about 60 degrees. No wind whatsoever. First and 10, Pine Bush at their own 33-yard line. Meelan under center. Pitches it on the outside, but a nice job on the tackle. It's going to be a loss on the play. Arthur Harris.
Once again, they just don't get the speed to get to the outside alone. So Middletown's doing a great job with
They're shedding their tackles, the blocks.
their moves, yeah.
And more importantly, in a game like this, you got to keep in your lanes defensively, right, Coach?
That's right. And
Second and 13, a handoff right up the middle. Anthony Bush, who's having a good game here in the first half for Middletown. The linebacker coming up to make the stop. After the handoff to Xavier Martinez, he picks up about 3 yards. Going to bring up 39 for Pine Bush from their own 34-yard line. We'll see if Pine Bush goes off script and throws the football. No, handoff up the middle to Martinez. He's got a nice carry, but he's going to be short of 2 yards. An interesting call here, Coach, for Pine Bush. Do you continue to play field position, Or do you run the risk here in your own side of the field and go for it on 4th down? If it's me, Coach, I kick the football. Keep Middletown pinned deep.
I agree.
Wait
Ed.
until they make a mistake on
I
offense.
agree, Ed.
But it looks like the Bushmen are going to go for it here. Middletown looking to put a good defensive stand up. And they drew. The hard count draws Middletown off sides. And a gift to the Bushmen will
Dead
result
ball.
in a first down.
Encroachment on a defense. 5-yard penalty. Result of the play. First down.
Well, it looks like that strategy worked well.
Yep. We'll never know if Pine Bush was actually going to snap the football. But the result of the play on the hard count by Meelan draws 3 or 4 of the middies across on encroachment. 1st and 10, Pine Bush from their own 46-yard line. Meelan keeps the football on the outside. And he does a good job of avoiding the tackle from Josh Popoka. It looks like he's just short of the first down, though he does head into Middletown territory. Picks up 8 yards on the play. So far, the successful rushes by Pine Bush have all been by their quarterback, Hakan Meeland. And he's under center right now. Carry right up the middle. Look out. That's number 30, Xavier Martinez. It's going to be a Pine Bush touchdown.
No flags.
Once he got through that initial set of would-be tacklers, there was nobody left in the secondary for the.
He kept his feet going, and boy, he put it in second gear there too. Now it's all settling down to maybe it's good that they didn't make that field goal. Now they got a chance to make it 7 points.
And the ball hits the upright on the extra point, no good. That may come back to haunt the Bushmen a little bit later. We'll take a look. But a 47-yard TD run with 4:53 remaining in the first half has given Pine Bush a 6-0 lead to miss extra point. When you're playing that defense for the Midi Bears, where you're concentrating on the run, especially within the first 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, you have to make sure you make the tackles because you've got no help in the secondary.
That middleman can stun himself right out of the play, and maybe that's what happened there. I don't know, but at any rate, that ball carrier kept his feet going, his legs going, and came down with a touchdown.
Cecil Brownridge and Dalen Smith back to receive the kick by number 88, John Grasso. He's kicking off from his own 40. The Midi Bear returners are at their own 5-yard line. Kick goes towards Smith. He gets it at the 15-yard line. He's at the 20. The 25, cuts it up the middle, still on his feet, and does a good job to get out to the 28-yard line. So with 4:46 remaining in the first half, Middletown has to make a statement here and answer this touchdown by Pine Bush. The Bushmen leading at 6-0 here in the first half. Midi Bears had some success throwing the football the last time. Howell from the shotgun. Denson is to his left, and that's who gets the football. Number 50 from Pine Bush, Mason Bowen. The 6', 205-pound line offensive guard from Pine Bush. Held his spot, came up with the 1-yard loss on the Middletown running back, Robert Denson. 2nd and 11 for Middletown, their own 28-yard line. Clock running down to 4 minutes in the first half. Howell is going to keep the football. Bowen once again in on the tackle. 2-yard gain for Howell. Going to bring up a long 3rd and 8, and Middletown defense coach has been on the field a long time, so this offense could sure use.
Their offense hasn't sustained a meaningful offensive surge here. It's always, I don't know, it's either a long pass or a short run by the kid catching the long snap.
Nice catch that time for a first down. Howell to Ryan Rosa, number 89. And, Coach, that time the quarterback stayed in the pocket. He did not rush his throw and allowed the receiver sufficient enough time to get to run his route.
Yeah.
So a good first down and a nice play. Pine Bush played a little bit of his own, hoping to not give up a long one. 3:17 remaining in the first half. Pine Bush leading at 6-0. 1st and 10, Middletown at their own 41-yard line. Howell straight back to pass. He gets away from some would-be tacklers. He's going to try to run the football and does a nice job of getting some positive yardage before he's finally brought down by Robert Jackson and Mason Bowen of Pine Bush.
That time Port Jervis Pine Bush ran their defense out of the area. That's why he had room to run. It wasn't a man-to-man, but it was a deep zone. And
2nd and 8 for Middletown.
See if he goes back to the pass again. He's got pretty good receivers that have pretty good speed.
Straight back to pass is Howell. Oh, and he threads the needle for the reception into Pine Bush territory. A nice catch and concentration by Naquan Dawson,
wow,
number 13. 3 defenders.
That was a great catch.
But once again, there's a flag on the play, and it's going to come back. It looked like a clip, a block below, which not only is a penalty, but I think it's a long 10-yarder. So some great positive yardage, which had Middletown and Pine Bush territory, is going to come back.
We got a legal block below the waist. 15-yard penalty. We're going to repeat 2nd down.
That's a killer, Coach.
Yeah, that is. Well, evidently they had somebody in contact with the defensive man above, and somebody tried to cut his legs out underneath. So that's a bad one. But it's a good one.
That takes away what was a 20-yard pass from Howell to Dolson, and instead they go backwards 15 yards. The ball now marked at the Middletown 27-yard line. They all have to get to the Pine Bush 49. 2nd down. Howell from the shotgun is going to run the football right up the middle. We've heard Mason Bowen's name a lot so far defensively for Pine Bush. My guess here, Coach, with 1:43, you just throw a Hail Mary long pass that works as good as a punt.
Yeah. Yeah, right now he seems like he's fishing from the sideline and really not establishing anything, and just hasn't, period.
2 receivers to either side. He's back to pass. And he just could not wait for the wide receivers to run their routes. He got too much pressure by that Pine Bush defensive line led by number 5, Robert Jackson. Goes down with a sack.
Now you either got to throw your long pass or you're going to have to punt the next down. But
A timeout, Pine Bush. Would the clock operator please make the time 1 minute, 10 seconds?
So Pine Bush calls a timeout to try to preserve there some time here. Minute 10 remaining in the first half. Number 30 for Middletown's Jermaine McCray. He's in to punt the football down near his own 20-yard line, just inside the 20. Once again, it's been an interesting game. It's kind of like both teams have been trying to feel each other out. And on the last series, Pine Bush finally punched it through.
I'm still wondering which team is supposed to be running the Delaware Ring team and which team really is, because I don't see it, not as I remembered it.
Anthony Potts back at his own 37-yard line to take the punt from McCray, and it's a very short punt straight up into the air, and it takes a Pine Bush bounce to boot.
Now, if Pine Bush is smart, now they'll do the long passes or run that same play right up through the middle like they did for that touchdown. Either one, they have a minute and 1 second.
Running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty. We're going to repeat fourth down.
A penalty of running into the kicker, but it's not of the personal foul nature. Otherwise, Middletown would have gotten a first down on that. So now Middletown will
good move,
repunt.
though. You had to try to go for the block. Although
Potts,
you really didn't need the block.
No,
because
you
it
were
went
going to
straight
get
up in the air.
Yeah, you were going to get the football in the other team's side of the field. Let's see if McCray can pull off another good one here. This time, much better. Potts is going to let it go. And this time, boy, we've seen the field bounces go either way tonight. But nevertheless, a huge penalty against Pine Bush allows Middletown to punt the football deep at the 26. I'm assuming, Coach, that if you're Pine Bush here, you're running the football. You don't need an interception return for a touchdown.
That touchdown run again.
Yep.
I'll make that number called. And with only 46 seconds, you can afford to do it twice because you still have one timeout left.
First and 10 for Pine Bush. 46 seconds remaining in the first half. They're leading at 6-0. Akon Mealand under center. The handoff up the middle to Martinez, who got the last touchdown. Pine Bush has one timeout left. The ball's run. He gains about 5 yards to the 31. So far, Pine Bush is holding on to the one timeout they've got. The clock is running at 30 seconds. 2nd and 5 from the 30. Martinez again. Nice tackle that time. Clock continues to run at 14 seconds. Tyshawn Moody in on the stop that time for Middletown. And looks like both teams are going to head in at halftime. And the only score with about 4:53.
That's the end of the first half.
Remaining in the first half was a 47-yard touchdown run by Pine Bush's number 30, Xavier Martinez. They missed the extra point, so that keeps the Mini Bears within a touchdown and extra point from taking the lead. Your score here at halftime at Fowler, Middletown down to Pine Bush by a score of 6-0. The Mini Bears trying to make sure they can get themselves back into the discussion for finishing third for the playoffs. Right now, Newburgh and Monroe Woodbury seem to be the two teams that'll earn some byes in the football playoffs. And Pine Bush and Middletown, right now, this is going to determine probably who will end up at third place. So we're going to take a break here, Coach Will Slayer and I. Your halftime score here at Fowler, Pine Bush 6, Middletown nothing. Sit right back, grab yourself some juice and food, and we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes.
get loose.
You all know what you have to do. Remember, no one, and I mean no one, comes into our house and pushes us around.
Some of you are thinking you won't fight. Some that you can't fight. They all say that till they're out there.
If we played them 10 times, they might win 9. Not tonight.
And you, as well as I, know that as the years decline and the memories stale and all your great victories fade, it will always be remembered.
Tonight, we stable. And we shut them down because we can.
And make no mistake about it, gentlemen. We're in the business of winning.
with me.
Welcome back here to Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School. Ed Estrada with head coach Dick Wilslayer. 6-0 Pine Bush at halftime. And coach, interesting ball game.
Well, Ed,
Not a lot of offensive action.
They went in the halftime and maybe talked about reminded the kids just what their offensive strategy was on both sides, and go from there. Now we're going to see if Pine Bush uses that fullback once again to get up to that middle and see if he can get some yardage, and see if Middletown can get the quarterback or somebody going on the corners or the pitch or whatever they're going to do. But whatever it was talked about throughout the week, that now that it's third quarter.
And how about Minnesink?
Minnesink 14, Warwick 7, end of the first half.
Who is that, Ed?
We have a couple of scores in Section 9. Cornwall still holding on to a lead against Monroe Woodbury, 20-14. About a minute left in the first half.
Wow, they're...
And then Warwick, Minnesink leading Warwick 14-7 at halftime.
Ooh, that's a good one for Minnesink.
It's 2 weeks in a row where Monroe Woodbury had a 70-0 win over Kingston, and then the last 2 weeks have found themselves on the short end of the score in the second half. So number 31 for Middletown. I don't have a 31 off the roster, but that's Steve Banton, number 31. He's done a nice job with field goals this year. Pine Bush will get the football first, up 6-0 here in the second half. Kick comes down at about the 22-yard line, fumbled on the play. But then Milan, the quarterback, takes it, and he gets it out to the 35-yard line. So good field position once again.
That's a pretty nice return after muffing the ball like that.
He's a big kid.
Yeah, now we'll see if again, Pine Bush goes to their offensive philosophy.
First and 10 Pine Bush, they're on 36.
And once again, that fullback is a pretty nice sized young man.
And that's who's got it.
And
but a nice job.
They hand it off with the old-fashioned way, two-hand reception of the back that gets the ball. And he only gets a yard or two. So now we'll see whether they try to hit it to the outside or repeat the same.
A nice job by Middletown's defensive tackle there, Isaiah Jackson, number 37 on the stop. Anthony Potts was that big fullback Coach Wilsayer was talking about. Up the middle, Martinez, he had the 47-yard touchdown that has Pine Bush on top.
He's the one that's you got to worry about him more so than Potts. Potts is bigger, but he doesn't have the speed. Martinez seems to have the speed and the tenacity to run into holes and out of holes.
Washington and Moody in on the tackles of Martinez. It's going to be 3rd down and 6 from the 40-yard line, their own 40 for Pine Bush. Opening drive of the second half. Up the middle, Martinez once again. He's going to be short.
But not by much yet. And it'll be interesting to see if they run the exact same play with the same block and they'll get their first down.
Or try to draw them off sides with the hard count like they did the first time.
Yeah, they've been susceptible of that too.
4th and 1 from their own 45 for Pine Bush. As of right now, they are going on the play. They need to get just a yard to the 41-yard line, 46-yard line, that is. They're at the 45. Quarterback keeps the football. He fumbles the football on a great hit, but I think Pine Bush recovered it. Jaheim Turner, number 48, with the tackle, having the ball come loose off of Meelan's rush after he got the first down. And number 86, Stephen Gage, related to our own Mr. Art Gage.
Oh, my word.
Came up with the football that was on the ground. So 1st and 10, Pine Bush, opening drive of the second half. They're leading at 6-0 with 9:40 remaining in the third. Meeland under center. Martinez with the football. Turner with another tackle for the Mini Bears, not before Martinez picks up 4.
And the thing with this, too, is that it's establishing something for Pine Bush, and that is a running game. And off of these straight-ahead dives, you have a wing-back possibility, slot back.
Once again, it's a heavy load of Martinez. Tripped up by Washington. Martinez gets down to the Middletown 45-yard line.
He feels his way into the hole a little, Ed. He gets his yardage, but he seems to be picking where the stunts are going and following his lineman up through there. But again,
yeah, he's doing a nice job showing patience.
2nd and 2, and
4 down
Pine
territory.
Bush has the ball. Here it comes again.
Martinez
Same
again,
Martinez
1st down.
Gets the 1st down plus some.
Sean Rosa in on the tackle. And a very methodical drive to start the second half. Exactly what Coach Wright and Pine Bush was looking to do. And that's establish the run in the second half and wear down that Middletown defensive line. Midi Bears, 1st and 10, Pine Bush at the Middletown 41-yard line. This time a keeper by the quarterback. Number 18 for the Midi Bears, Arthur Harris, in on the tackle. But once again, that 1st down, what we were not seeing in the first half, Coach, was a lot of 1st down yardage, and we're getting that.
The first 2 plays were setting up the 3rd play, that is the quarterback to keep the ball. So they're establishing something, and in a nice, quiet little time-settling way.
Hand off to Martinez again. I believe that's kind of his 5th straight carry on this Pine Bush series. He picks up a couple of yards. This time Middletown did a nice job bringing him down. It's going to bring up 3rd down for Middletown, for Pine Bush,
But
and
the
5.
thing of it is, it's opening up a sequel in which a back coming off the corner or the wing back coming back through is available to have the ball handed to them for a counter type of play.
3rd and 5. Martinez gets the football, and number 42 for Middletown, Brandon James, does a great job shedding his blocker. Martinez picks up a yard. It's going to bring up a long 4th down, but obviously 4 down territory here for Pine Bush. We'll see if Middletown can come up with a big defensive stand here and bring this crowd back into the game. They've been sitting on their hands a little bit with the score being 6-0 Pine Bush. 4th and 4 for the Bushmen. Meeland under center. Oh, and they've drawn Middletown offsides once again, and that will give Pine
Dead
Bush.
ball, encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty, result of the play, 1st down.
That is
cow.
a killer.
That's a gift. That's like giving a gift of 5 yards and a 1st down
And
to,
it wasn't
to your
one,
opponent.
just like the first time, it wasn't one player, it was 3 or 4 players. So the hard count by Meeland working to perfection. For the 2nd time, they draw the Middletown defense off sides, and that results in a Pine Bush 1st down.
They still have the capability of running a type of counter play or sweep or off of that fullback dive.
Martin. Gunnar Meeland in on the run that time. For Pine Bush, a nice job that time by DeMarcus Pearson for the Midi Bears. This time the quarterback's going to keep it. He gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers. Finally tripped up by number 18, Arthur Harris. And I apologize, I think Armel Duke is number 75.
And again, that play was directly off of a fake to the fullback. The quarterback kept the ball, started right around the outside. So those fullback dives are starting to take their toll on the Middletown defense in more ways than just wearing them down. And here they come again, lined up with a fullback ready to go right up the middle.
Milan gives it to Martinez. He does a nice job, but Middletown is there to make the stop. Led by number 33, Tyshawn Moody, who's had a wonderful game on the defensive side. Fourth down once again, and they can't be drawn off sides because that would result in another first down. Middletown has to be a little careful here. 4th and 4.
Oh, it is fourth.
Quarterback's going to keep the football. He's got some running room. He all the way down inside the 15-yard line, and a first down for Pine Bush. The Middletown defense was prepared for that inside handoff once again, and like you said, Coach, that's been drawing the defense, allowing the quarterback to then take the football.
Yep. It's just, like I say, it wears on them in a lot of different ways rather than just the physical. Here they come again, and don't be surprised to see. Whoop, I was wrong. They gave it to their
Martinez.
Their Martinez blockbuster, and again, it's just a matter of time before that quarterback wants to make a good fake to him and keep the ball and still have the possibility of a pitch on the outside.
Picked up 1, 2nd and 9 from the 10-yard line. Middletown's 10 for Pine Bush. Meeland hands it off to Martinez up the middle again, and he drives the Middletown tacklers inside the 5-yard line before he's finally brought down by Chris Washington, along with Jaheim Turner. 3rd down and 3.
And they're knocking on the door again.
If Middletown stops Pine Bush here, it's going to be interesting whether they go for a field goal or not, trying to make it a 2-score game. 30 is Martinez. He's close to a first down, but Coach is going to be short. It's going to bring up a 4th and 1 call for Pine Bush. They're up 6-0, so do you try a field goal to make it a 2-score game?
Not here, not the way you're moving the ball consistently. Because you have Martinez, you have your fullback, you have your quarterback. You have a lot of
and the hard count.
And the hard count, yeah.
The hard count could give them a first down, but Meeland has kept the football a lot in these plays. And that's what he does. Meeland keeps it. Question is, he finally gets into the end zone.
He's in.
But there's a flag on the play. Illegal shift by Pine Bush. And that might change the call here to a field goal. It's going to bring him back 5 yards and make it a 4th down. Here's the call.
We got illegal motion on the offense. We're going to go 5 yards from the previous spot, still 4th down.
So a big penalty. There was one against Middletown on this drive that gave Pine Bush a first down, and this one negates a touchdown by Pine Bush and makes it 4th down and 7 for Pine Bush. Now they're going to kick the field goal.
Now they're going with a field goal.
It'll be a 25-yard attempt. Snap is down, the kick is up. And the kick is good. So with 1:43 remaining in the third quarter, Pine Bush picks up a big 25-yard field goal by number 88, John Grasso, and the Bushmen have a 9-0 lead on Middletown.
Yeah, now it's a two-score game, and that puts a lot of pressure on Middletown, both offensively and defensively. They've got to sort of slow down Pine Bush, and they got to pump up their offensive game. So
the most successful plays that Middletown has had on offense has been Howell going straight back to pass. He's got a couple of times, and he's found a couple of receivers right down the middle of the field.
Yeah, and that's, three things can happen when you throw the ball, and that's not something to hang your hat on.
Number 20 on the near side for Middletown's Dalen Smith, and number 80 is Cecil Brownridge on the far side, taking the kick from John Grasso. It's a short squibber that goes out of bounds. A bad kick. By Grasso is going to give Middletown some good field position to start.
Give Middletown good field position, but Middletown hasn't done very much with good field position. So, and you took away the possibility of having some of those fast kids from Middletown score a touchdown. So that was a good strategy, and of course you have great coverage on it because it's out of bounds. But
the advantage with Middletown speed is that they could conceivably strike quick.
Well, that's true.
We've seen these Middletown wide receivers with their speed get loose in the secondary, and if Howell can find one.
Well, too, that Pine Bush is going to just drop back and give him the one in front of him. And
Arthur Harris is to the left. Now he goes in motion to the left side. 5 receivers for Howell and the Midi Bears. He goes straight back to pass. Over the middle. It's intercepted. Number 88, still on his feet. That's John Grasso for the Bushmen. Down the sideline. He sheds a few tacklers, and he is into the end zone. Let's see if it's a touchdown, and it is. No, they're going to mark him out, I believe.
And like I say,
I still don't see a mark on the football.
I don't see a hat over there either.
Yeah, I think they're going to mark him down at the 2-yard line or just short of the 3. Coach, you said a lot of bad things can happen when you start throwing the ball over the middle out of necessity. And the pass is intercepted.
They marked it on the 2, Ed, and it's first and goal, Pine Bush. And Pine Bush just got off of
after the interception. On the return, we have holding on the return team. It'll be 10 yards from the spot of the foul, be first down Pine Bush.
So a fortunate penalty for Middletown, an unfortunate penalty for Pine Bush, takes away a good return by their wide receiver and kicker John Grasso, who intercepted that football from his safety spot. That's going to bring the ball back all the way to the Middletown 49.
But Pine Bush has already established that they can run the ball, and that Middletown can't. So let's see if Pine Bush reverts back to their philosophy, the way they really want to control the ball. There's only a minute 22 left in the third quarter.
Malin under center, Martinez with the football. That's been the common play for the Bushmen. Martinez picks up 3, second down and 7 for Pine Bush. In Middletown territory at the Midi Bear 47-yard line, second and 7. A minute left in the third quarter. Pine Bush leading 9-0 and driving once again off of the interception of Howell by John Grasso.
See, actually, Middletown really dodged a bullet there.
Back to passes Meelan. First time we've seen this in the third quarter. Good coverage. It was intended for Potts, but number 48 was step for step with him, Jaheim Turner. Potts did get his hands on it, but it was out of bounds at that point.
But again, that pass came right off of the action of the fullback or the running back coming up through the middle. And he had all the time in the world to throw it. He had good coverage defensively that he was looking at. But so they'll go right back again to the fullback or Hernandez back there running the ball. And
Meelan under center. Martinez is back there with him. He's going to go straight back to pass again. A little screen pass. Almost intercepted by Tyshawn Moody. He had a touchdown if he comes up with that football. But give him credit for being able to read that play and staying in his lane, Coach.
Yep. But again, it's that play was made because of the fake to the fullback going up inside. And
a good job by Middletown because of that to kind of not fall for the screen pass.
Yeah, well, there's a heads-up player right there.
Fourth down.
And he could have been a hero all in one.
Correct. Punt is up. It's short and takes a Middletown bounce. And finally downed at the 35-yard line. So the Midi Bears, with 18 seconds remaining in the third quarter, dodge a huge bullet thanks to a block below the waist on an interception return that took Pine Bush from the Middletown 2 all the way back to midfield. I'm sure Coach Strenfeld is asking his Midi Bears who is going to step up and make a good play on offense.
Yeah. Now it's just you've got one quarter to score two times.
Yep.
And
the Midi Bears, one of the good things this year for Middletown is they have a good field goal kicker.
And Pine Bush has not really shown any weakness in their defense either.
He's got a receiver at the 40, down to the 30-yard line. And that's what we were looking for. Number 18 for the Midi Bears, Arthur Harris on the connection from Dalton Howell. That's a 39-yard reception from Howell to Harris, and Middletown, with 9 seconds remaining in the quarter, have their deepest penetration into Pine Bush territory. They're going to come to the sideline in the fourth quarter, and maybe, Coach, just maybe that'll spark some Middletown excitement.
Wow, yeah. Well, they got to get excited now because...
Yeah, that's the end of the third quarter. Where we at?
So Middletown down 9-0 to start the fourth quarter here at Fowler Field. It's still a beautiful night, a big crowd with our neighboring district from Pine Bush. 12 minutes left in the ball game now as we start the fourth quarter, in Middletown trailing Pine Bush 9-0. But off the 39-yard pass from Middletown quarterback junior Dalton Howell, connecting on 39 yards with Arthur Harris, number 18, who was the receiver of that pass, Coach, is an 8th grader for Middletown. And he's been an integral part of the team this year, so as an 8th grader, not bad.
Yeah,
promising.
I was just going to say that's where your skill players are brought in and led up. It's like that 6'3" quarterback from Cornwall.
Wow, number 54, an offensive lineman, Tyler Lasenta's lined up as a wide receiver on the right side. Over the middle, he's got him! A nice catch over the linebackers by Dalton Howell. That's going to result in a Middletown first down inside the 10. And on the receiving end, number 89, Ryan Rosa. The official, we've got some issues here. The official, there was a flag on the play, Coach. I think the officials are bringing this back.
Ineligible receiver downfield for
boy.
Middletown.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. We're going to repeat
boy.
first down.
Coach, Tyler Lacenta, number 54, an offensive lineman lined up on the far side as a wide receiver. I'm wondering if he didn't report.
Is he an
as a
eighth grader
receiver?
too?
No. But I'm wondering if he did not report, because that would make him an ineligible receiver, correct?
Yeah, yep.
You're supposed to report, and he did not. A huge penalty. Middletown had the football inside the 10-yard line of Pine Bush with a first down pass. That's negated by the illegal man downfield penalty, and Middletown now has 1st and 15 instead from the Pine Bush 36-yard line.
Oh, boy.
And here's another flag. Probably delay game. And he's going to talk to the other official to see if the clock was reset or not. And it looks like he's picking it up. Yeah, he's picking it up.
No flag, no flag. Please start the 25 on my whistle.
First down and 15 for Middletown. They're at the Pine Bush 36-yard line, down 9-0 with 11 minutes remaining in the game. Howell off the blitz, back to pass. He had his receiver. That was number 80 for Middletown, Cecil Brownridge. He had it in his hand. It was thrown a little bit behind him, but the quarterback, Howell, never had any time because of the blitz from Pine Bush.
He threw it off his back foot, which took the steam off the ball that it really needed to get to his receiver. Now we'll see if they come back to the same play. They know where the soft spot is in the Pine Bush defensive area.
It's right over the
linebackers and in front of the safety.
And right now there's nobody in that position for Pine Bush. Howell back to pass. He was looking short, going over the middle. Oh, and it's a nice job deflected. It was intended for Brownridge. But John Grasso with a nice job of tipping the football. Otherwise, it's 6 points for Middletown. Now, Coach, the Middletown kickers done a good job this year with field goals. So, I mean, obviously you're not going to have them kick from this position. But if you can get another first down and get it at around the 20-yard line, you need a field goal to win or to.
Yeah, you're still a mile away. And that's
third down in what's probably 2-down territory for Middletown. Back to pass is Howell. Throwing it up. He's got him, but it's short. He had a big rush and kind of wasn't able to follow through on the pass. He had that 8th grader again, Arthur Harris, back there. He got behind the Pine Bush defense.
Now Pine Bush is starting to put some defensive pressure on the passing game.
Yeah, they got to be a little. They got to be a little careful though, because Harris was way behind the coverage.
Well, they're in a 3 deep and just going backwards. Ed, there's not much else they can do.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea is if they're going to catch it in front of us.
4th down for Howell and the Midi Bears. He gets sacked.
There's another pressure from Pine Bush. And
Robert Jackson on the sack. Number 54 for the Midi Bears, Tyler Lacenta, who I believe had that penalty on the ineligible man downfield. Couldn't hold the block on Jackson, and Howell gets sacked.
The glee of the Pine Bush defensive people. Now they got the ball, and then with it, comes the momentum that you have for stopping a team.
And really, Middletown's got to, unfortunately, guess run on every single play and try to strip the football.
Yep. They can't play games.
Will the clock operator put the time at 10:35, please?
Clock adjustment. Moving it from 10:17 to 10:35 remaining in the game. Pine Bush up 9-0. They have the football. 1st and 10 from their own 44. Up the middle. Number 11 for Pine Bush. Driven out of bounds by Jaheim Turner. Anthony Potts picks up 5 yards to the 49.
And also it picks up 30 seconds. And right now Middletown's got to have one eye on the field, one eye on that clock, because before you know it, if Pine Bush keeps running the ball the way they have been in the last quarter, they're going to be taking a lot of time up. Here it comes again.
Now that time it was Potts again. He was brought down by Jermaine McCray, but you're starting to see in the Middletown tackles, Coach, where they were earlier on, they were standing up the Pine Bush runners.
Yeah.
Now, once there's an initial contact by the Middletown defense, that runner is still going 2 or 3 yards.
Yep.
And you could tell the Middletown defense is starting to get a little worn down.
Yeah. And they still have their speed man in there that they can still hand off to, right there.
Potts again. He's
Oh,
got
that
enough
is
for the
Potts.
first down.
And the big thing, you're talking 15, 30 seconds going off the clock every time they now they come back in their huddle. They can stay in there for as long as they want. And you're down to 9 minutes and 9 seconds. So, and their big gun hasn't touched the ball in the last series or so. So we'll see what happens here.
1st and 10 Pine Bush for the Middletown 45. That's Martinez with the football. That's the big gun Coach Wilsayer was talking about. Sean Rosa in on the tackle. He picked up about 1.5 yards. Actually, they're going to mark it back at the Middletown 44. So 2nd and 9 from the Middletown 44 for Pine Bush. Clock running down. Pine Bush leading at 9-0 in the 4th quarter. Counter play finally given to
the quarterback.
The
kept
quarterback.
The ball.
There's going to be a hold here against Pine Bush, or a block in the back. It's a shame because it wasn't necessary. He already had the first down.
We got a block in the back on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat 2nd down.
So that negates a first down carry.
Like you said, he didn't need it, but once again, the quarterback had to fake off the dive and kept the ball, and it was all well around the outside, and so the staple play of Pine Bush's Delaware wing T is setting up plays left and right.
Number 1 with the carry and does a nice job still on his feet.
And there's the other extension of that play in which the wing back comes back and after the fake to the fullback and fake to the running back, he gives to the wing back and
Frank Wise on the carry for Pine Bush. Picked up the penalty yardage plus a couple from the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So it's 3rd down and 8.
But once again, you watch the
clock.
The clock, it's down to 7 minutes of your final quarter.
I think that was a mistake on the handoff. Milan, the quarterback, was looking for somebody. That person wasn't there, so he just gave it to somebody else. So that's going to bring up 4th and 11. We'll see if Pine Bush punts or just tries to throw it up into the end zone. Looks like they'll be punting the football. Whistle's blown. Arthur Harris and Chris Washington back to receive the punt. Another flag on the play. Let's hear from the official.
Looks like Middletown went off again.
Actually, I think they're marking it off against Pine Bush.
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down. Clock will start on the play.
Washington on the near side. Harris on the far side. Punt is up. It's a little bit short, but it takes a big Pine Bush bounce all the way down to the 16-yard line, and 6:18 remaining in the ball game here at Fowler Field.
Middletown does not need the position where it is. That's for sure. They've got 9 points to get and less than 6 minutes to get it.
And the unfortunate thing is they're going to have to throw the football, and Pine Bush knows they're going to have to throw the football.
Yep. Everybody.
Both teams have all of their timeouts left. Hey, listen, we've seen a lot bigger comebacks with a lot less time.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it can't be done, Ed. I'm just saying that you're being put in a position with your back to the wall. You got Pine Bush with their ears drawn back, going after the quarterback, and here they come.
Pass was intended on the far side to number 89. That was Ryan Rosa. Kenneth Holland in on the coverage for Pine Bush. Down 2 possessions. There's a need here for Middletown to get some sort of points on the board with this possession.
Well, at least the first down will help. Now they're going in trips over here
and he rolls to that side. Finds a receiver at the 25, number 80 for Middletown. Gets enough for the first down. Cecil Brownridge gets out to the 32-yard line. That's a 15-yard hookup.
But now you're down to 6 minutes and counting.
You almost think you're going to have to go into a no-huddle offense here, correct?
Well, yeah.
This time he rolls to the opposite side. He's in pursuit. Oh, almost intercepted by Hakan Meeland out there. Cameron Green, the intended receiver, was hoping that would come off of the fingertips of Meeland of Pine Bush. It does not. Incomplete. 2nd and 10, Middletown from their own 32-yard line.
And Pine Bush is going to, sooner or later, they're going to put up a block on that end to stop him from running that far to throw.
That's a run right up the middle, trying to keep them honest.
And now you're down to 5 minutes to score twice.
Chambers on the carry, picks up 2 yards. Going to be 3rd down and 8 for Middletown from their own 34-yard line. 5.5 minutes remaining. Pine Bush leads at 9-0.
At this point, Middletown should be in a 2-minute offense.
Rolling to his right is Howell, looking downfield, and it's out of bounds, intended for Naquan Dolson on the far side. Dolson really never had an opportunity to catch that football. And this will bring up 1 4th down play that Middletown needs to get, or the game will just about be over with 5:24 remaining. They're down by 2 scores, 9-0. Howell scrambling on 4th down.
Doesn't make it.
Nope, he's short by a yard, and it'll be a changeover on downs. That's a tough first down to pick up on 4th for the quarterback.
Yeah,
Sometimes if you're the quarterback,
that was more of a desperation run.
Correct. If you're the quarterback, you just stay in the pocket as long as you can.
Well, this will be the same old thing, the direct handoff to number 11
or number 30,
or the
Xavier Martinez.
Quarterback keeping the ball or Martinez, yeah.
Number 30, Xavier Martinez, and number 11, Anthony Potts, with a little bit of number 1, Frank Wise, thrown in there, along with the quarterback for Pine Bush,
Shouldn't be anything
Akan
fancy or nothing in the air, so.
Handoff right up the middle, that's Martinez. Picked up 4 on the play, 2nd and 6 to the Middletown 36-yard line.
He got the 4-minute warning, so.
We're under the 5-minute mark here, 4:54 remaining in the game. Middletown will be on the road next week at Kingston. Pine Bush has a non-league game against Whitesboro next week. Quarterback's brought down. Actually, he handed it off on the counter to Frank Wise, number 1. A loss of about 4 yards on the play. Middletown choosing not to take their timeouts at this point. 3rd and 11 from the Middletown 41. For Pine Bush. Mealand under center. Handoff this time to Potts off the counter. He's got some running room. Enough for a first down as he takes the ball out of bounds. Driven out of bounds by number 44, Anthony Bush, and number 48, Jaheim Turner. But not before he picks up 13 yards inside the Middletown 30, and that'll be a first down and keep the clock running.
And that'll be the silencer of Middletown right there.
Midi Bears with 3 timeouts will likely begin to use them here.
Well, and now that Pine Bush can start using the victory move of 2 steps back and by the quarterback and down on a knee.
Potts with the carry. He's got some running room. Arthur Harris lowers his head and makes a stop for Middletown, but not before Potts picks up 4 yards. 2nd and 6. Pine Bush from the Middletown 24. They're leading the ball game 9-0 and a running clock, 3:26 remaining in the ball game. With the win, Pine Bush will go above 500 at 3-2, but they pick up a very big divisional win at 3-1. And have a stranglehold on that 3rd position in the OCI AA playoffs. That's Martinez up the middle. Looks to me like he got he might be just short of a first down. It's going to bring up 3rd and 1.
Tell you, if he gets one good block in that secondary, he's gone.
He's gone, yep. Just like he did in the first half. The only touchdown in this game, Middletown finally.
And without a doubt, Pine Bush is in 4-down territory here just for the sake of burning up the time.
Xavier Martinez has the game's only touchdown, a 47-yard run with 4:53 remaining in the first half. The extra point was missed by Grasso. And so the Midi Bears had Pine Bush had a 6-0 lead. They've added a field goal in the 3rd quarter, late in the 3rd quarter, to make it 9-0. That's where we stand here late in the 4th. Up the middle, Martinez. He's got another first down, and that will put the nail in the coffin. Middletown will likely use their timeouts.
Unless they just want to give him some points for his stats. They will probably do the kneel down victory play.
You're surprised here, Coach, that the Middletown coach has not called the timeouts?
Well, you know, as
He's got all three.
He could have done it. He could have done it before to try to stop him, but he would have had to talk to his defense to stop their running play, and he hasn't done either. So I really don't. But I do commend you, Ed, for your being a gutty announcer, and here they.
Thank you, Coach. I learned from you.
Well, you got that old Syracuse spirit, man.
The Orange looking to stir up the college football scene tomorrow. They're on the road at Clemson, trying to make it 2 years in a row against a Clemson team that's ranked, I think they're ranked second in the country right now. And if if Syracuse were able to pull off that upset, Coach, now we'd be talking to the Orangemen about some good national coverage at 5-0.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Penn State's got their hands full with Ohio State tomorrow night. So.
Our own Kevin Witt is headed out there.
Time out, Pine Bush.
Our community liaison, Kevin Witt, will be making the trip out to Nittany Lion Land to watch Penn State take on Ohio State, I believe.
Ohio State, yeah.
They call it Whiteout Day.
Whiteout. It's going to be Whiteout Day out there.
You, of course, have your daughter, Kelly. Big fan
Kelly.
of Penn State.
From Cornwall and Monroe Woodbury, Cornwall leads 34-14 with 9 minutes and 14 seconds.
Wow.
Monroe Woodbury looking to have their first loss in Section 9.
Cornwall's legit.
Yeah.
Cornwall is very legit.
They're beating Monroe Woodbury 35-14. Makes you a second week in a row that Monroe's been limited to 14 points after scoring 70 the week before here, 2 weeks ago against Kingston.
Yeah, well. Like I say, that's why they played the game. And Monroe's
becoming
gotta
open.
sit up, and if they're going to stay in the competition with Newburgh, they're better staying up and take notice of what's happening to their own team.
Yeah, it looks like Newburgh is going to be a tough out this year in AA football in Section 9. There's Martinez trying to add. He almost got through that Middletown linebacking area.
Out, Middletown.
Now the Middies call a timeout with 54 seconds remaining. Ball's marked at the 13-yard line, 3rd down and 7 for Pine Bush. They have a 9-0 lead with 54 seconds remaining. All the scoring was a 47-yard touchdown run. And thank you, Mr. Jeff Shuko, the public address announcer here at Fowler Field for many years, for passing along some of our scores here at Section 9. Warwick down to Menacing Valley 14-7. That's the end of the third quarter. And we reported earlier the Cornwall Monroe Woodbury score 34-14 for the Green Dragons, 9:14 remaining in the third. Of course, that's not a divisional loss for Cornwall since they're in Class A. But a big statement on some of those Class A schools, right? Menacing, Warwick, and Cornwall can play with anybody.
And double A teams, you know. Well, here we go.
Meelan, Potts on the handoff. Middletown trying to string him out. They finally do. Going to bring 4th down, and the Middies call another timeout.
Out, Middletown. They're second.
The Midi Bears will be on the road the next 2 weeks. They've had a bunch of home games here in September. They'll finish up with 2 games at Kingston and Washingtonville the next 2 weeks. And then it'll be homecoming and senior night on October 19th. We'll see you right here at Fowler as Middletown takes on Valley Central. And Warwick now with 10:13 remaining in the fourth quarter is now tied up with Minnesink. On quarterback Joey Miller, a 50-yard touchdown run down the sideline has tied that ball game up. Potts again. There's a flag on the play, likely a Pine Bush hold. Here's the official's call.
We got a block in the back on the offense. That penalty is declined. First down, Middletown.
So the Midi Bears take over with 39 seconds on their own 16-yard line. But 39 seconds is all that's left. And tonight's ball game, Pine Bush with a 2-score lead, up 9-0. Tough one for the Midi Bears. I thought after that Monroe-Woodbury game last week that would provide some spark for the team, and unfortunately on offense, which has been their number one issue so far this year, the defense has played well. Hey, listen, the defense played well tonight again, limiting Pine Bush to 9 points. Pine Bush has scored 49 and 33 points the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. And Middletown is going to have an offensive resurge. Here comes a long pass just to say.
And he's got that 8th grader. Number 13, that's Naquan Dawson, not the 3rd grader, I'm sorry. And he's out of bounds deep into Pine Bush territory at the 39-yard line. I apologize there, Naquan. Got you mixed up with Mr. Harris there, but nevertheless, 1st and 10 Middletown at the Pine Bush 39, 25 seconds remaining. Midi Bears trailing 9-0. 44 yards on the reception from Howell to Dolson. Clock is running. Throwing it into the end zone. 9 seconds, the clock is still running. They're a little slow on that trigger. And I thought Dolson went out of bounds on that last play, Coach. I don't know why the clock started before the play went off.
I don't know. I think the ball was out there. He was still chasing it.
We got holding. 56 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. We're going to repeat first down.
It's Brian Giacchi on the Middletown hold. Takes the ball all the way back to the Middletown 49-yard line with 8 seconds left. Howell from the shotgun, likely the last play of the game. And he throws it as far as he can. And it's incomplete, and that's going to be the ball game.
It's the end of the game.
So a disappointing loss for Middletown. 9-0 to Pine Bush. The Bushmen on the strength of a 47-yard touchdown run by Xavier Martinez with 4:53 remaining in the first quarter, in the second quarter, that is. And then a 25-yard field goal by Pine Bush's John Grasso towards the end of the third quarter gives Pine Bush a 9-0 win. With the win, the Bushmen go to 3-2, 3-1 in divisional play. With the loss, the Midi Bears drop to 1-4, 0-3 in divisional play. Middletown's on the road the next 2 weeks at Kingston and Washingtonville. We hope to see you right back here at Fowler on October 19th. That's senior night and homecoming for the Midi Bears as they take on the Vikings of Valley Central. So tonight's final score for Ed Estrada and legendary head coach Dick Wilsayer. We bid you good night. Pine Bush takes it from Middletown 9-0.